President Trump's talking about controlling Venezuelan oil for the foreseeable future. His quote to the New York Times in that interview was, "Only time will tell." Let's get to Doug Flynn on this. So the idea is like, all right, because a lot of people have been pressing the president, is this a short-term thing and we'll get it up and running and get out? He says we could be there for years, and he wants to get the price down to about 50, okay, $50 a barrel. So you take that part of it on the price side in terms of how the economics of this will work, you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it is possible to get it down to 50. I mean, we already have an oversupply in the market of oil. And so if you further exacerbate that by bringing more online, that can further push down the oil prices. The problem is it is going to take years. I mean, their infrastructure is trash. So, for these companies to come in and invest billions of dollars, perhaps tens of billions of dollars, and get a return on their investment, which may actually yield less than the current prices because prices are going to be down, that's a circle they have to square before they get these companies jazzed up. And you have all that political instability without a lot of guarantees, at least at this point. So while it can happen, a lot has to happen, and it's not going to happen overnight for sure.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's bringing supposedly some of these oil bigwigs in tomorrow, the president, and I wonder what questions they'll have for him.
I think the questions are definitely going to be centered around what assurances and guarantees this time, if we do all this.
We don't get screwed like we did last time.
100%. So there has to be some guarantees back, and that's going to be on the backs of the taxpayer if it doesn't work out this time, where last time perhaps it wasn't. They lost that money.
How much of this?
Questions on that.
Mm-hmm. Totally. How much of this is about, how much of this is about exactly what we were talking about? Let's just get the oil online, okay, try to get the price down, get American companies back in, versus, in your view at least, just kind of strategic, sometimes people say 4D chess, I don't know if that's the right way of saying it, but it's strategic kind of Russia, China, and there's much more to it than just simply the oil and the American companies.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there is an element to that. I think that this is part of, for this to happen, you have to do all these things. Then you have to selectively ease the sanctions to allow the sales to happen to the U.S. That isn't clear. You do have existing deals with Russia and China to Venezuela. Are those going to be honored? Are they not? All of that. And it is part of a wider strategy, I think, to assert U.S. dominance in this hemisphere. There's no question that that's the backdrop of all of this, along with everything else. I mean, they definitely want to drive the prices down, help the people in the United States, help the people in Venezuela for sure. But there's those other parts that are absolutely part of this. And it's an opportunity I think they saw and they took it.
One other topic, then we have the closing bell in a few minutes. The housing. Here's a Truth Social post from the president that he put up that he says, "I am immediately taking steps to ban large institutional investors from buying more single-family homes. I'll be calling on Congress to codify it. People live in homes, not corporations." We have a look at the average home price of the U.S. at the end of last year, heading into this year, just over $417,000 is where it is. Estimated cost hikes this year, as you see on the screen there, could be in that range. So what do you make of what the president's saying? First of all, what is he saying here, and what's the impact?
So what he's saying is that there are corporations that are buying these single-family homes, and so creating less corporate competition for people that are renters that want to be first-time home buyers. Because what happens, a lot of these corporate owners, what they do is they take a single-family home and they convert it to a rental. They put some money in, and then the rents go up because they renew it. And so there's less supply of single-family homes and more rentals. And so then people trying to convert from rentals to buying have a harder time. So let's eliminate this part of it that's causing some additional pressure.
You think
in
it's
the
a good idea?
market.
So you would take like a big investor like a BlackRock or somebody, right? Is that what you were talking about here? Right, because I know it's been talked about before, but others. And you think it's a good idea to not let them be in the game here?
I mean, so in perspective, this is less than 2% of all the buyers. So it's not really a tremendous amount of this going on. But I think it is part of a bigger plan that coincides with, lower rates that he wants to do, those 50-year mortgages. Portable mortgages, I think, are great to allow people to transition if they have a low rate to take it somewhere else, to get the money moving. And then he wants to put some pressure on builders. So I think it's part of a bigger plan. This is the headline right now. And I think, if you do all of that, that will add some relief. I don't know how much this particularly does, but it could actually drive up renting prices in certain areas. So it just depends how it plays out and where you are locally. As we all know, it's all about location.
Location, location, location. All right, Doug, thank you as always. Doug Flynn explaining all of that for us. Closing bell.